Yo, what is good, YouTube? In today's video, I got you all the new top 5 meta loadouts you should be using. If you enjoy this video, be sure to give it a like for the algorithm, subscribe, notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so hopping in here to show you guys how to build out your guns. Basically, the first one we're going to take a look at is the AMAX, but before we do that, I want to show you guys some of these perks real quick, just because there's a varying amount of ways to be able to run them between, obviously Verdansk and Rebirth. So kind of give you guys some, tips and tricks here. So first thing I think that is very beneficial is just running maybe Scavenger if you're playing Verdansk, and the reason being is not just because you're going to need to pick up more ammo. There's plenty of ammo around. It's just there's a massive cash shortage. So when you're able to actually have Scavenger on, when you go over those Scavenger packages, you do collect money for that. So it does add up over time, being that obviously it is hard to find cash. That is something that's very beneficial. Also, another good option would be Mountaineer if you're trying to jump off some of those higher buildings, stuff like that. And reflexes can be pretty solid as well if you're trying to clear some building and you're worried about overall like people dropping the procs mines and stuff like that. Allows you to run by them. So any of these like first 3 perks here that I've shown you guys are going to be great. Moving on in here to the second category, I will definitely say that you guys can run a variety of things in here. I think quick fix is my go-to, especially playing on Rebirth quite a bit. That's really nice. Tracker can be pretty good if you're playing on big map BR. I haven't actually unlocked reactive armor. I personally don't really care for it. Might go ahead and do that armory unlock, but overall there's really not going to be anything you guys need to have in here, maybe short of quick fix and maybe like tracker. Those are going to be like your probably 2 most effective second tier perks. Then perk 3, basically I kind of been switching this out here just a little bit. So between resolute for me and also a tempered is what I've been running a lot of, because I've been primarily playing Rebirth. But there's a lot of good options in here, honestly. I mean, even gung ho is not all that bad depending on the guns you're using. Ghost can be good if you're trying to play that sneaky game, and then bird's eye is actually pretty solid as well. I mean, even alertness, I mean, just to be able to tell when people are looking at you. Granted, there is a general range, so you're not going to be able to tell if someone's looking at you from across the map, but it can help you if you're going to be going through, let's say, downtown, something else like that, or home from some buildings. You're trying to figure out, oh, hey, someone's looking at me. So go ahead and choose any of these. I definitely say resolute and tempered are the best ones in here for me personally, but overall, like, you really can't go too wrong with these. This video is sponsored by MMOEXP, home of the best Black Ops 6 and Warzone services for cheap bot lobbies and fast camo unlocks, which you can go right over to the site and use code CHUCK at checkout for 6% off. Now, as far as our first gun goes, the AMAX, just to kind of break it all down for y'all here, the AMAX is basically your #1 AR in the entire game right now. So there is a couple of ways to build this thing out. We'll give you probably the most effective way to run it with a couple variations. First thing, the optics section. I mean, this is where you have some like a nice bit of choice depending on which map you're playing. Obviously, if you're playing something like Rebirth, you can get away with running like the Volzinski reflex, which is something I really like. But for whatever reason, I feel like it looks a little bit weird to run this on this gun. I never ran, obviously a red dot back in the day on it. So there's times where I'll just kind of go down here and go for like a Kepler red dot, something like that, or the Otero. They're basically the same thing, just look a little bit different. So kind of up to you and what you want to run right there. But that's a really great option. And then generally speaking, you're probably going to max out down here at the Willis 3 times or the Jason Armory 2x. Really nice that it does help with your recoil gun kick. So for those longer range engagements, you should be more effective by having the Jason Armory and the Willis 3 times versus having like a red dot of some sort. That's overall just going to be really nice for you guys. So for this right here, we're going to choose the Willis 3 times, as I know a lot of you guys are going to be using this on Verdansk. Muzzle section, this one's kind of up for debate on what people think is truly effective, so I'll put this out there. The mono suppressor, which by the way is on page 7 of the battle pass, for you guys that it says unlocked at like level none or whatever it is. I had to look it up myself basically, and I was kind of confused, but it is on page 7 of the battle pass. Like, even though it is my job, sometimes I still get confused on things. It is on page 7 of the battle pass. Go ahead and make sure you guys got that unlocked. So this will right here will be a really great attachment for bullet velocity and range. Keep in mind there's no recoil control benefits, so it does help your overall bullet velocity, which is really nice. But the other option in here, which I think is probably a little bit more preferable, is the compensator. The reason being is that the AMAX, like y'all know the AMAX, it's got some recoil, it's got some kick. So if you cannot control it with the mono suppressor, there is no point in having all this extra range right here as opposed to running the compensator if you can't hit your shots, right? So if you find it is tough for you to hit them shots at range, I know you're going to be unsuppressed, but run the compensator. If you feel like you're totally good with it, run the mono suppressor. It's up to you guys. I think the Kilo is easier to use with the mono suppressor, but the AMAX is probably easier for majority of people to use with the compensator. So we're going to just go ahead and throw this on there. Barrel section. This is going to be in here, and we're going to throw on the reinforced barrel. Main reason it gets you out that damage at effective range of 58.7 meters, which is your first damage drop off, your first damage profile drop off, and you can see your bullet velocity is over 1,000 meters a second. Really awesome sauce. We absolutely love that. So that's really good. Some people can definitely go for the gain twist barrel, maybe more of a rebirth specific barrel, just because like that damage at effective range is still perfectly fine. If you take a look at what we were running with the Cypher, that was still great with this pretty much exact damage at effective range, though this does actually hit, I believe, a little bit harder. Your bullet velocity will be increased, but reinforced barrel is generally speaking the move on this gun. So go ahead and slap that on there. Under barrel section, I'd say to go ahead and slap on the vertical foregrip. Just there's nothing else better in here, so you guys just want to go and slap on the vertical. And lastly, in the magazine section, you can run extended mag 1 or extended mag 2. I've been running extended mag 1 just because, I mean, it's a classic AMAX mag, 45 rounds. The reload's pretty quick. I really haven't been running extended mag 2. There's a lot more cons to it, obviously, but it does give you 60 rounds in the mag. Normally I'm a 60 round mag kind of guy, so like, hey, you know, I can definitely run that, but I've been running the AMAX with extended mag 1. So up to y'all what you want to run right here. Not the end of the world, but you guys can definitely go ahead and slap it on like that. That'll be a great build for your AMAX. And I've also seen other people, let's say, take this off, throw on, you know, the mono suppressor, run the iron sights, and go ahead and slap on the recoil springs. And that is another way to run the AMAX more as sniper support. So couple ways to really run this thing. I mean, there's just a variety of ways right now to be able to run things, which is actually pretty cool. So that's awesome. But go ahead and just kind of, you know, mess with it and see what works best for you. But overall, this is probably like your best all-around AMAX build. Next up, we're gonna hop in here for the KSV. This is probably like your best SMG right now in terms of overall consistency, mobility, ease of use, recoil. Like there's, you know, other SMGs like the Compact, which have a ridiculous TTK at close range up to about that 13 meters, but it can fall off quite drastically. And some people find the Compact maybe a little less mobile and also maybe a little bit more inconsistent. So this is like, you know, the peak of consistency right here. So first thing, we're gonna go in to the barrel section. We're gonna throw on the long barrel just to give us that maximum damage range. You can use this as sniper support, though I will show you a much better option later on in the video. So I'll just build this out as a regular SMG. Gets you out to 17.8 meters, which is really good. Pretty much anything past 14 is really solid in the SMG world. So go ahead and slap that on there. Under barrel section, you're gonna want to run either the Ranger foregrip, or if you feel like there's a little too much of that play, you know, you want to run something that stabilizes it more, run the vertical foregrip. It's not going to slow you down, but also it's not going to speed you up, whereas the Ranger foregrip will speed you up. And I find it very crucial to be able to kind of get away from some of these gunfights now, with the TTK being a lot faster. I've been definitely needing the Ranger foregrip on these guns just to get me out of some of those gunfights. Even that's why I got Resolute on instead of Tempered sometimes, so I get that 15% movement increase, because it is tough to get away from some of these gunfights. Magazine section, we're gonna go through on extended mag 2 here. Gets you out to 50 rounds in the mag. No reason to ever run extended mag 1. It just does not make sense. So you go ahead and slap this on there. Rear grip section, there's been a little bit of a hot topic for debate between running the ergonomic grip and the commando grip. I've personally tested both of these. I honestly want to say I might be favoring the commando grip a little bit more recently, but you're not really going to have like a detrimental effect running one or the other. You just get ADS speed, jumping, sprint to fire, jumping, aim down sight speed, and sprint to fire speed here, whereas the ergonomic, you get dive to fire and slide to fire, along with ADS and jumping, aim down sight speed. So I think in terms of overall like sprint to fire, everything like that, and ADS speed, this will be like your go-to, but that slide to fire is pretty crucial as well. So kind of test it out, see what works better for you. This will have you ADSing a little bit faster than this will, but this will be better for sliding. So just kind of check out and see what works best for you. I'll just throw in the ergonomic grip here to keep it simple. Lastly, in the stock section, your best attachment in here is going to be the Infiltrator stock. You can definitely go ahead and run the Balance stock. I've ran that plenty. I recommend the Balance and the Infiltrator, not as much the No stock after the update, just because obviously the TTK is faster. Having that strafe ability to be able to throw off people's aim is very, very nice. You're not going to be really sprinting around as many people nowadays. Like it's kind of like it's harder to get out of gunfights. You're going to want to make it so that your shots count. So the Infiltrator will be great and the Balance stock will be great. Definitely don't be running the no stock. I don't recommend that anymore. I used to actually enjoy running that, but after the update, I definitely do not. So This right here is your full KSV build. Next up at the number 3 slot, we got the Kilo 141. This is like your number 2 AR. It's really nice that, of course, the AMAX, the Kilo are absolutely gas. They're really, really solid. So, I mean, you're really not going to find anything else that's going to be better than them. So you guys definitely want to go ahead and run these guns. First thing, optics section. We're not going to go for an iron sight build, though that is possible. I will say that the iron sights build is just going to be less effective. We're trying to use the Kilo for maximum effectiveness. And overall, it'll be much more effective with this sight. So same thing kind of applies from the AMAX to this. The Volzinski reflex, you could go for kind of whatever other red dot you want here that you feel comfortable with. You can also go down here for the Kepler red dot and the Otero. I found the best success actually running the Jason Armory 2X and the Willis 3 times. When I was playing Rebirth, I was running the Jason Armory and it felt absolutely phenomenal. So you guys can go for that, or you can go for the Willis. Up to y'all on that one, but I just was running the Jason Armory and it felt great. So, but if I'm playing big map, I'm going for the Willis. Playing Rebirth, I'll probably go for the Jason Armory or maybe like a red dot like that Volzinski reflex. I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but you know, it is what it is. Muzzle section, we're gonna go ahead and actually throw on the mono suppressor in this thing. The reason we're doing this, I was saying about, you know, the AMAX, it's easier to run the compensator. With this gun, it's easier, I think, to run the mono suppressor. There's not as much recoil to it. Like obviously the Kilo is gonna have a little bit of kick, right? But it's gonna be very minimal. So you can get away with running the mono suppressor, get a little extra range out of it, which is nice. Even without a barrel on there, over 1,000 meters in bullet velocity, your damage at effective range is not bad, but obviously it's still gonna need to be increased. But overall, I mean, this is gonna be really effective. So go ahead and run the mono suppressor. If you feel like the recoil is too much, run the compensator. It'll be perfectly okay, but I just recommend the mono. Now, barrel section, we're still going to throw on the beautiful reinforced barrel. Gets you out to 48.9 meters as long as it actually does what it says right now. Sometimes you have to select it in order for these things to actually pop up and show it correctly. But 1275 in bullet velocity is absolutely crazy. Really love that. Your damage at effective range, pretty solid. Obviously, it doesn't hit as hard as the AMAX, but it fires a little bit faster and maybe the recoil is a bit easier to control than the AMAX. The AMAX is more of a skill gun. It requires a little bit more skill. Some people say it requires a Cronus. It does not. You can be good at this game. That is indeed a thing. Some people think you can't possibly control recoil in this game, and I hate to break it to you, this is the easiest FPS out there to control recoil. It's not like it's PUBG or something like that. That's a whole different story. But next attachment is the vertical foregrip. We're slapping that bad boy on there. No reason to switch it up. It's not like there's a stock or something like that, like there is, let's say, for the XM4, for instance. That would help with recoil. That's like the only AR that has that. There's nothing else that does. Magazine, we're throwing on extended mag 2, though you can definitely throw on extended mag 3. I said this when I unlocked it and I was showing you guys this the first time. It's like, I don't know why they didn't just make this a 100 round drum like from the OG Kilo. It makes sense for it to be a 100 round, but it's just not. So I just say, generally speaking, you're gonna want to run the extended mag 2, 60 rounds. You know, 60 rounds in the mag. I'm a 60 round mag kind of guy, so it's what I like to go for. But I mean, this right here is the move. So slap this class setup on there. Y'all are going to be absolutely frying. Next up, for an SMG that you guys should be using, the C9. This is really solid. I ran into a bit of a glitch in game. You guys are gonna have to let me know if it happens to you, where my stock wasn't working as intended. It like just wasn't showing up in game. So if that does happen to you, obviously maybe switch out your variant or something else like that. But overall, the gun is really good. So we're gonna hop in here and show you how to build it. First thing, long barrel as per usual. Used to be able to get away with like the reinforced barrel, but obviously you can see 11.9 meters is not that great, not that stellar. So we want to go for the long barrel. My bad, it's not going to actually select it. Yeah, 13.7 meters, not that great. Long barrel 15.5, it's a decent bit better, puts you out to above that 14 where you want to be. Bullet velocity is fine, everything like that. And this is close range. Basically everything at close range is rather hit scan, so we're not too concerned with a whole lot there. Underbarrel section, this is one of those guns where I've ran the vertical foregrip just because that weird, like it starts like, you know, goes up a little bit, then starts jiggling back and forth, and it's a little bit more uncontrollable. So the vertical foregrip is still perfectly acceptable to use on this thing. If you don't mind any of that, or if you feel like it doesn't affect you, go ahead and run the Ranger. But largely speaking, I think a lot of people are gonna go for the vertical foregrip. Still great, it's just not gonna make you as fast, so choose one or the other. Magazine section, we're throwing on extended mag 2. The only reason I'd say for y'all to run extended mag 1 is if you're playing something like solos, BR solos. Maybe it might help you just to be a little bit quicker in those close range engagements, and you're only taking on really one person at a time. 2 maximum, depending on if you start getting third partied. But largely for everybody else, extended mag 2 is going to be the move right here. Go ahead and run that. Rear grip section, same thing kind of applies for this as it did for the other SMG, which is going to be the commando versus the ergonomic grip. It's really kind of up to your guys' personal preference. I've been running the ergonomic on this thing, haven't found too many issues. I feel like the ADS speed was perfectly fine. It just seems like you kind of have to really test it out between, you know, SMG to SMG to see what's better. Like the compact, you might want to run the commando just because it feels like a little bit more sluggish in the ADS speed department versus, you know, this doesn't. So we're wanting to go for more of that slide to fire, just kind of those things you notice when you use the guns a lot and you're really good at the game. You can understand kind of the little tweaks that they need. Stock section, we're definitely to go for the infiltrator stock or the balanced stock. I think I lean a little bit more to the balanced stock on this thing, just because it helps me with all sorts of different things, you know, strafing movement speed, hip fire movement speed, and aim walking movement speed. So it's really nice for, you know, of course, a variety of things, whereas the infiltrator does only aim walking movement speed, but it will do it better than the balanced stock. So don't really recommend running that no stock, not that great here. Go for the infiltrator or the balance. I personally go for the balance. It's what feels good to me. I like having that nice little rounded increase to my statistics on this SMG. So this right here is an absolute heater. Go ahead and try this out. And last but definitely not least here within this top 5, we're going to be going over the AK-74. We're not going to be using this as a primary AR. This is going to be used as a sniper support and kind of close range. It's funny enough, when you use this thing for close range, it's got one of the fastest TTKs in the game, if not the fastest. So it's not great as a long range, but at close range, this is gonna hit. So let's hop in here and show you guys how to build it. First thing, muzzle, we're gonna actually slap on the compensator here. Kind of standard if you're running it as like a long range, but for short range, you still want to run the compensator. So go ahead and slap on the compensator to this gun. After that, we're actually going to skip the barrel section, go straight to the underbarrel, and we're going to run the Ranger foregrip, which is of course going to help us with our horizontal recoil control and sprinting movement speed. Obviously, if we were building this out for long range, we're not using the Ranger foregrip, but just because we're using this as for basic close range and sniper support, we're going to be running the Ranger, as the recoil is going to be super manageable, just kind of as is. Magazine, I believe the best route to go is extended mag 1. I don't believe extended mag 2 to be like necessary, just because we're trying to be pretty quick here and the reload is very fast with the 40 rounds in the mag. I think if you're going to be using this at close range, you don't want to slow yourself down anymore, considering it is an assault rifle by default. It's not going to have SMG like statistics, so you know, slowing yourself down more by having extended mag 2 is not going to be the greatest thing. I mean, you're going to be using this at close range. So I'd say go for extended mag 1. Reload's going to be great. If you feel like that's too little for you, go for extended mag 2, but I like this. Rear grip section, we're going to go throw on the commando grip, and the reason being is that it does help with your ADS speed, of course, your sprint to fire speed. Jumping sprint to fire speed is kind of in that diamond camo right there, and jumping aim down sight speed makes you faster overall and does absolute wonders for this gun. And I think you guys will be very hard pressed to find a rear grip that's going to be better for this. I really don't even think the ergonomics going to be all that much better. You want to increase your ADS speed. Like I said, it's an AR. We're basically converting to more or less an SMG. So definitely want to go for that. Lastly, in the stock section, we're throwing the infiltrator, which is going to help us with our aim walking movement speed. I haven't found it to be more beneficial to run the balance stock at all, though it does look cool because of the battle pass variant I have on, or the black cell variant, whatever it is, I can't remember. But the infiltrator will be better in my opinion. It'll just help you kind of be able to strafe back and forth, which is quite nice. Obviously, a rotational aim assist, making people miss their shots, kind of any and all the above. That's exactly what it's supposed to. So this right here is going to be the move. That has been my top 5. You guys enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.